Welcome, I'm Josh Strife, and this is Session 0, a tabletop role-playing group focused on immersive adventures. Let's go around the table and introduce all of our players.
Hi, I am Callum. I am playing Mullac Drab, the human bard. I'm somewhat of a relic hunter, and I'm just here to have a good time and play some tunes on my flute.
Hello, my name is Rage Darling, and I play Angharage Bach, who sounds a little bit Welsh because it's the only way I can distinguish myself from her, because other than that, we're completely alike. We're hot-headed, we're chaotic, we do a lot of carnage, and she's a human barbarian.
Hi guys, I'm Billie, aka Yemmara Trixx, and hopefully I've got some tricks up my sleeve today. I don't have sleeves, don't question that. Shut up. There are no sleeves, but there are definitely tricks, and I'm going to be performing some magical mysteries today.
Top-notch intro. Top-notch intro. The adventure we are going on today is called the Heart of Albion, and we'll see our party journey into a magically advanced city, discover some secrets about it, and then make a difficult choice about whether they want to be the good guys anymore. The adventure starts, as all good adventures do, in a tavern. The party have been spending a few days here, eating, drinking, sleeping, generally making merry, as there is not much to do around these parts at all. Mullac, how have you been entertaining yourself within this tavern in the middle of a forest for a while?
Honestly, a lot of drinking and a bit of gambling on the side. I've had a bit of luck last night, and then spent it on more alcohol.
Excellent. So you're a bit of a gambler.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky?
No. not even remotely. I am basically broke and homeless again.
So a chance to go and maybe earn some money might be a good thing for you.
Oh, definitely.
Fantastic. And Harrog,
Yes.
what have you been doing for the last couple of days?
Well, I'm pretty bored because I've pretty much arm wrestled everyone in here. That everyone's kind of a little bit on the weak side. But yeah, other than that, I've made some friends. It's been nice. I've chugged some beers. My first beer, by the way. I can't believe I've never tasted it before. It's so good.
How was it? You enjoy it?
Yeah, it was lovely. Like, my head went a little fuzzy.
Well,
but
everyone in the tavern, now their arm does hurt, including a couple of tables that have been upturned with legs broken off them because you were training on them, weren't you? You flipped a table over, just grabbed the wooden leg and just broke it off, which very much annoyed the bartender, a lovely chap called Britt. Yemmara, what have you been up to?
I've been trying to help Callum get better at his game, but unfortunately, morally, I was struggling to kind of get past using detect thoughts on his opponents. And sometimes I would just let him fail. But
Those were the only times I won, so...
I didn't want him to be completely out of pocket. Then we'd all have no money.
You have been around for a while, gambling, arm wrestling, and mind-reading people, and Britt, the bartender, is getting a little bit fed up of you. As much as he likes your company and enjoys the fact you will spend money, he kind of wants some other clientele, and you are scaring them away slowly. So when Britt received these in the post, he was more than happy to hand them out to you. Please pass that round to Angharage.
yeah.
They are letters, invitations, flyers to an annual event. Mullac, would you please read the flyer?
The annual Albion Aether Extravaganza. God, that's a mouthful. Join us for the 25th Albion Aether Show. See the Skybound Sentinel engage the Enforcers. Admire the power of Aether. Half-price admission with this flyer.
Ooh.
Have any of you been to the city of Albion before?
I have not.
No, where is it?
The only person that may know is Britt, the bartender. Now, as far as this game goes, the party are able to ask Britt as many questions as they like before leaving the bar, and he will answer them as best he can. But once they leave the tavern and go off on the adventure, they're on their own. Any preparation they make now may or may not help them in the future.
Ooh. What's a sentinel?
Good question. I have no idea. Hey, Britt, what's a sentinel?
Britt, as usual, as all bartenders are, is cleaning a glass with a rag. It's the same glass he's been cleaning for the last few hours. I don't think he wants to do any other work, so he is simply continuing to clean this one out. He looks over. In what kind of context?
The general context?
Oh, the Albion flyers that we got.
Yeah.
Oh, City of Albion, amazing place. Have you guys been there before?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, fantastic. So, amazing city. Only existed about 25 years ago. Started off as a little hamlet, little tiny village, nothing, and then suddenly they somehow gained access to a massive amount of magical power. They refer to it as Aether, pure magical energy. And there was just a ton of it there. So they used it to just build the city up. And now, towers, metal blocks and buildings, wires, pipes, puzzles, a huge city in the middle of absolutely bloody nowhere. But, oh, the Sentinel, that was one of the most amazing things they ever made. So picture this. They built a metal ship, a huge, big, almost like a big pill, metal ship, metal plates on the side, bronze and wires, and it flies. It circles the city in the air. It's some kind of protection. I think it was, they just did it because they wanted to prove they could, to be honest. I don't know if it's got any weapons on it, but
So it's a big flying ship.
it's a massive flying sky ship. It watches over the city. It watches the countryside around. It keeps everyone safe. Personally, I think it's just a little bit of a show off. You know, we did this because we can kind of thing. But you know what? When you're standing there on those streets and you can hear the hum of the aether energy and you can feel the warmth of the lights glowing in glass bulbs all around the city and you can feel the metal and the brick and the power and you look up and you just see this dominant sky sentinel. Makes you feel small.
I want to go.
That sounds impressive.
But every year
Probably never seen anything like that before.
No, I've never seen anything in the sky unless I throw people.
You've
Well,
seen a bird, right?
I've seen a bird, yeah.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, but, you know.
every year they
It's
host
lit.
this annual event where they invite inventors down and magicians and sorcerers and whatnot to show off what they can make with aether. 5 years ago was when they made the Sentinel. In fact, there was a bit of a sad story about that because it beat somebody else out. But yeah, 5 years they put that up. They've got their city guard. Oh, you want to see them? Exoskeletons. They call them the enforcers. Metal bars, powered by magical energy, attached to them. They stand in them. They grab them. They are fast. They're powerful. It's the city of the future. I'll tell you that much. It's the city of the future.
Sounds amazing.
Well, you head down with those flyers, you get half price entrance. Not sure what the cost is now, but I'm sure you can afford it.
Can I borrow some money from someone?
Fine.
Mm,
Thank you.
you're okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
I
I'll
don't
pay
know
you
how
back.
much I have,
So
so I better not.
now I'm suspicious about how
I'd
much
like
money
to,
you think you've got.
During the time when we've been in the tavern, I would have liked to have like accumulated some like coin just when people aren't looking. Well, say they're
Scraping the
busy like,
tables.
after that. Yeah, after the arm, they're like, wow, yeah, and I'm just kind of like
Roll a d20.
17.
You were actually able to be quite sneaky, and after you've beaten people in arm wrestles, you would just take a coin or two from them. Some of them would give you a coin because they'd noticed you going to take it anyway, but didn't want to argue with you. They just assumed that this was what would happen if you won. Some of them didn't want you to take that money, but as soon as you did, they were terrified of you, so didn't speak up at all. So you've managed to accumulate a small pouch of gold coins. You have no idea how expensive admission to the city of Albion, especially the extravaganza, will be, but you've got 3 half-price flyers.
Yeah.
You probably blag your way in.
I'm sure it'll be fine. So which direction is this even in?
Still cleaning the rag. It's pretty simple, just through the forest and just follow the path. I mean, to be honest, just follow the general sense of bluey smog in the distance in the air. It's not smoke.
Oh,
it's
that's
more
what that was.
Yeah, it's pure magical energy. Take you about a
Right.
day's ride to get there.
That's not too bad. So wait, hold on. A day's ride?
Yeah, but you've not
Actually-
got horses, so 2 days walk.
Okay.
Can we get horses anywhere?
I mean, not unless you've seen any around the place, and I haven't got any.
I guess we're walking.
Yeah, looks like a walk to me.
Well, it's only 2 days. That's not too bad. So out the tavern.
At the
Straight
tavern,
ahead, left.
at the tavern, turn left, find the little path that walks off into the woods. I've seen you guys pop in there before, and then just straight down for 2 days.
Okay. Sounds simple enough.
Oh, what kind of time of day is it right now?
Right now, it is early morning, which means if you set off, you'll probably get there by about evening tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I think, if we set off now,
Yeah. Might as well make an early start. Yeah.
then we can camp up before it gets dark.
You have general camping supplies on you. You have tents, you have cloths, you have large swaths of fabric that you can set up general basic canopies with. You've camped in the forest before.
May I please do a ritual to speak with animals?
Rituals, are you leaving the tavern yet, as you have not yet left the tavern?
I'd like to, as they say that we can't have horses, I'd like to be like, just once I'll be right back. I'm just gonna pop outside and then I'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah?
worries.
Okay, one sec.
You do you.
And Harrog walks outside to the forest.
I'd like to look around to see if there's any rustling bushes or any leaves that look like they've been eaten.
Roll a d20.
Horses don't eat leaves. That's a 15.
There is a small rabbit just gently chewing away at some greenery in the corner. It looks up at you, recognizes that you're the arm wrestling person, but it doesn't have arms and so isn't too worried about you and so just carries on eating.
Can I speak to the rabbit?
What would you like to say?
Are there any horses?
Roll a d20.
19.
19. The rabbit looks back up at you. In the world, yes, there are horses. However, you must be more specific with your questions to gain my wisdom of animals. The rabbit was a philosopher in another life.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rabbit. What I'd like to say, is there any horses in the vicinity of here within sort of like... And then I just doing this
Just
gesture, you know, that would hear me, that you could possibly go and gather for me.
You wish to send me off on a quest to gather a horse.
3 specifically, yeah.
You wish to send me, a tiny rabbit, off on a quest to gather 3 horses.
Yeah.
Roll a d20.
Damn. It's a 1.
You sicken me. Your faith in horses will be your undoing. This is why the rabbit people no longer communicate with you. Good day. The rabbit just hops back off into the bush, offended and upset. Horses will avoid you for the rest of the day.
No! That's cruel. I'd like to head back inside, quite dejectedly.
Britt is still cleaning the glass with a rag. Do you have any more questions for Britt about the city of Albion or the Aether Extravaganza before you decide to leave and head off and explore the city yourself?
So 25 years, it didn't exist before then. It was just a hamlet, did you say?
Oh, about 30 years ago, it was just 1 or 2 small wooden huts. And then when they discovered whatever they managed to discover, I've got no idea how they managed to draw the energy out of it. First thing they built was some kind of stone metal structure covering some kind of discovery. And then they used that to generate the power. It's still there, actually. They call it the Heart of the City, I believe. You're not allowed in, though. No one knows what it is. But
Oh,
just magical essence, apparently.
it'd be cool to see, though.
I mean, you can
Very
ask,
cool.
but visitation is limited.
Right. Limited, but not none.
Well, I like your attitude about that.
Yes.
Why not?
I think we should set off now while it's still light.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, get there evening tomorrow, and
Find out what
enjoy
the price is.
enjoy the extravaganza.
I may have messed up a little bit.
What did you do?
I tried talking with the GGs and they didn't talk back.
Oh, they did. They were just very, very, very upset.
The rabbits, I tried to get some horses for us and
Aw.
they weren't listening. And now they're not my friends no more.
Right, that explains it. I was looking through the window and I saw you trying to communicate with the rabbit. It kind of turned its back on you and walked off. I
It
did
was
wonder
really
what that was all about.
mean.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
late.
It was what?
Late.
Late?
Yeah,
For a very important date.
must be.
Do any of you have any more questions? He's just sat there cleaning the same glass, the same rag, being like, please leave. I want other clientele. I want other patrons.
Okay,
Please
let's go.
Sorry, Britt. Maybe we'll see you soon.
Maybe.
I slide him an extra gold for his troubles.
Roll a d20.
So apologise for existing too.
It just slides off the other side of the table and he looks at it and then looks at you and you're just smiling at him as if you just dropped money in front of him. That's what you think of him. That's what he's worth. Pick up the floor money. He does because he needs it, but he's not happy with it.
Cheers, Britt. See you later.
Bye,
Bye.
Brit.
The party leave the tavern into the forest and begin to make the rather simple journey of 2 days toward the city of Albion on foot, as they were unable to find horses as they have offended the local rabbit community. Mullac,
Yes.
what do you think of a technologically advanced city?
It's really exciting. I love technology. I've not been around it much recently, anyway. So I'm really excited. It sounds like it's right up my alley.
And
What
Harrock,
are you doing?
It smells like coffee.
I told you you're not allowed to drink any of that.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
a technologically advanced city harnessing the magical power of Aether. Does that sound like something you'd be comfortable in?
No,
Why
not
not?
at all. Because magic's scary. If you can't do the damage with a weapon and magic does more, it's just not cool. But the cool magic is like when Yemmara was messing with Mullac with the thoughts. That was really funny. But aside from that, I don't like it.
Yemmara, how are you feeling about heading to a magical city?
I'm really intrigued. I don't know. I've never been to anywhere like this. I've not been in touch that much with technology, but it has magic, so that excites me.
The journey is relatively uneventful for the first couple of hours, simply walking through a forest. It's a long way. You can see the city off in the distance. You can see the large metal spires rising up. You can see a blue ethereal glow, and you can see the metal-plated black blimp of the Sentinel circling slowly in the sky above. The orange, blue, green glow of pure energy simply humming and buzzing around it, keeping it up in the sky. Every now and again, it will slowly drop down and then rise back up. You aren't sure if it's refueling or if this is simply its flight pattern, but the Sentinel is a constant, ominous presence in the skies above Albion. And the first night approaches relatively quickly, and you get ready to camp. Mullac, you've camped in the forest before.
Oh, plenty of times, yeah. That's where I'm most at home.
So you're willing to just set the tents up and get ready for a good night's sleep?
Oh, yeah, I'm setting up the tents, laying down the bedding while the girls are faffing around talking to animals and whatnot.
I'd like to be collecting sticks.
Roll a d20.
When?
1.
Yes.
You find a stick. It's a pretty good stick, so you put it down and remember to pick it up, and then you find another stick and you remember this is a good stick and you put it down and remember to pick it up later.
Yeah.
Effectively, what the others see you doing is just looking at sticks and then just putting them down on the floor exactly where they were. You forgot that collecting requires gathering.
Yeah,
And
sounds
instead,
about me.
you've almost just
Yeah.
done a recon on the forest.
Yeah.
You can have one good stick.
Nice. Okay. One big stick.
One big good stick.
Okay, good. Does it have a leaf on the end?
Roll a d20.
7.
It's a dead leaf.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not a good leaf,
I'd
but
like
it's
to
there.
take my stick back, and as Mullac's kind of like setting up all the beds and stuff, I'd like to kind of like put the stick over his shoulder to kind of like distract you.
What is that?
It's my stick.
You were meant to gather many for a fire.
But it's a good stick.
Not by itself.
It has a leaf.
While this is happening, Yemmara, what are you doing?
It's not looking too good.
Watching that, I'm like literally, I'm sat down for a while, just observing, watching her pick up and put down. I built a little kind of stone circle in the middle of our campsite to create a campfire. And do you want to bring your stick so we can actually make a fire?
Yeah, okay. Wait, no.
That's how fire.
I want to.
What are you,
You
gonna
want
do
to
with
what?
it?
Can you light the leaf on fire?
I mean, it is dead and dry.
Fine. I try and light the leaf on fire.
Roll a d20.
The smallest fireball. 9.
It immediately catches fire and then just burns up super quickly. It crisps and crackles and ash falls to the floor.
Cool. Again.
There's no leaf. It's burnt.
Oh, okay. All right. I'd like to snap the twig and then just give you one part of it, and I keep the other.
I actually get more twigs.
And Harry, you seem very connected to this stick.
It's my stick.
Is there an emotional reason you've become so connected to this stick?
It reminds me of Sticky, my stick from home.
I see. There's an emotion. There's a recall there. There's a narrative
Yeah.
thread that we're weaving.
Yeah.
We're going to roll back to it. It's going to be a very big character arc. Excellent. I'm just going to write down stick to make sure that's important.
I love my little Sticky.
I'm just sat on a stump with like my head in my hand, just
I thought we'd be in the city by now, to be honest.
yeah. You and me both.
You get your head down for a bit of a rest. The sun sets, the night creeps in, but thankfully the blankets you have wrapped around you keep you warm enough. And just before the morning, before all the animals would be awake, before the sparrows would be chirping and the birds would be flying around, you hear a rather large shout right next to you. It's simply a man saying, "Wake up, campers!"
Is it like a xylophone? Ding, 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 ding.
Oh no, it's not that nice at all. And as soon as you are shocked awake, there are 3 people standing just by the side of your little camp. One of them is sitting on a log. One is standing with his foot up against a tree. And the other one is standing straight with his arms folded. All of them are wielding exotic weapons that you've never seen before. The one standing with his arms folded begins to talk. Good morning. See you in the forest. Excellent night for it. Right, I'll make it very simple. Gold, money, items, weapons, everything on the floor, and then you can be off. Don't want to kill you.
Don't or can't?
Oh, much easier without bloodshed, please. Don't test us.
Slept with Sticky next to me.
What you want to do in the night is your business. All I care about is your gold, your money, and your items. Now, come on. I think I'm being pretty reasonable here.
I mean, fortunately, I've got no gold for you. So, sorry.
All right, cool. Cloak, cape, everything you're wearing on the floor. Everything else. Yep, that as well. Don't make me count to 10.
1.
As soon as you say that, he goes, 2, reaches into his cloak and pulls out what looks like a crossbow. But there's no bowstring on it. There's vials, there's little metal kind of baubles attached to it, and there's some wires running to and from various places. And as he says 2, he pulls the trigger, and a bolt of pure blue energy begins to materialize on the top of the crossbow and then flings itself incredibly powerfully and fast towards you. Please roll a d20.
17.
Before you're able to react to it, the bolt smashes into your upper thigh, takes you completely off the floor, and lands you face down on the leafy, muddy ground. It's burnt into your leg, but not through, and hurts. What's over you? Don't make me say 3. You throw the stick at him.
I threw a Sticky at his head.
Roll a d20.
Okay. 14.
You throw the stick at his head. The other one, the one that was sat on the log, stands up and draws out a long wooden pole with a metal head. It looks like a mace at the end. But as they swing it toward the stick to knock it out the air, blue energy almost arcs off this metal ball toward the stick, and as it hits it, it just blows it up in the air, kind of smashing it with like an electrical, metal, ethereal mace itself. He then swings the mace round and stands there looking at you as well. The one that hasn't done anything yet, the one with his foot up against the tree, stands up, looks toward you, and then pulls out a pair of smaller sticks off his back with wires running down them. And as he shakes them, they begin to glow. And a kind of area of effect glow appearing around them, and they almost start to hum and buzz, and he starts to step toward you menacingly. Mullac, what are you doing?
I take a step towards him, and I go for the chest kick to knock him back.
Roll a d20.
16.
As you raise your foot up to kick, this person holds both of these glowing sticks in front of their own chest, and your foot connects with the sticks. There's a moment of energy, almost storage, and then as they push back on both these sticks, you are pushed back 4 or 5 meters. You're able to maintain your balance, though, and not fall over. You have 3 people standing in front of you. One of them holding an unstrung crossbow that seems to be firing bolts of magical energy created from the air itself. One of them holding a long pole with a metal head that has energy arcing off it from things that come near it, and one of them wielding 2 shorter sticks that seem to be able to absorb and then push back energy. Everyone roll for initiative.
Oh,
I don't like these guys.
there's no way to communicate
16.
now then. Damn it.
8.
14.
Well, like you realize these people are trouble. Now,
Yes.
they themselves do not look too strong, but the weapons they are wielding are clearly remarkably powerful,
Yes.
and they want to mug you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to approach the one with the crossbow. Hands open as if I'm going to, give in and give them what they want. And last second, sweep my cloak over his head to try and disorientate him and potentially bring him down.
Roll a d20.
16 again. It's 3 in a row.
Describe this attack then. You walk forward, hands open slowly,
Yeah.
and he holds his kind of crossbow up. He's looking towards you. You can see the kind of aether of a bolt starting to form on
Yeah.
the metal block, but before they can pull the trigger, you throw your cloak over and kind of grab you into a melee and pull together.
Yeah, try and blind him.
What everyone else then sees is bolts of magical energy firing out and away randomly and chaotically, ripping through your cloak as you go, burning small holes in it through. Thankfully, none of them hit you, and you're able to grapple this guy with this magical crossbow to the ground and just kind of hold him there, pinning both arms down onto the floor. While that's happening, who rolled the next highest?
I rolled 14.
Yeah, you did.
And Harrog.
Okay. So the guy with the big stick, how close is he to me?
Probably about double what you and me are from each other now.
Oh, that's quite far.
You could cover that distance quite quickly if you ran or sprinted.
Yeah, I would like to charge at him, and I'd like to jump and with his stick kind of like put both of my hands over the shaft of the stick to try and pin him down.
So
with the
he's
objective.
holding this huge, big double-handed weapon with a metal head that has energy arcing off it, and you want to grab the weapon
Grab
shaft.
it and then kind of just like have it like that, so he's like pinned back with it.
Roll a d20.
6.
You run forward, you leap. Describe the grab.
Okay, so I would leap and then kind of like with both of my hands just sort of like lunge forward and attempt to kind of just disarm this guy.
He realizes what you're doing and so steps back and switches the weapon round so the metal head is at the front. And as you reach out both your hands to grab, the metal head begins to pulse the blue energy, and then 2 beams arc off it, slamming into the palms of your hands as you're in the air, traipsing through. You can feel your elbows locking out as this energy courses in and then kind of blasts you back. And as you land on your feet, you look down and see that your hand is somewhat burnt in the very center of it. And it's not burnt through the skin, but underneath the skin, there are some blue lines, almost like electric kind of blitzing down. Yeah. It's slowly fading, but it's painful for the time being. He's knocked you back with the power of this weapon, but they themselves have also stumbled back a bit. The blast from the weapon was too powerful for them to handle as well. Yemmara.
Okay. So who's kind of like in front of me now? So you took on the one with the
stick.
You've got the one.
I've got Crossbow Daddy on the floor.
The only person who's not necessarily been handled right now is the person with 2 shorter sticks that seem to absorb energy and then push it back.
Right. Okay. I'm seeing that happen to you. I'm actually going to try and use his own magic against him. So I'm going to just basically crawl out a little bit, kind of on the floor, because obviously my thigh hurts so much. I'm going to do like a hand mind thrust and try and like fling him backwards so that he can't get us.
Aiming at the person with the 2 short sticks. Roll a d20.
17.
You throw this magic toward them effectively. Describe the attack.
So it's just going to literally like, I'm on the floor. It's just going to come from my hand like that.
And as it pushes forward, it starts off clear, invisible magical energy, a wall of force that you've thrown at them. And as it approaches this person with the sticks begin to glow, and the force almost begins to congeal into blue-green energy itself, which gets sucked into these 2 sticks. The sticks almost absorb the magical power that you've thrown, and the wielder spins round and flicks them both into the distance, which fires the magical attack you've made off in, almost as if he's absorbed and then transferred it away. However, after doing this, the user does shake his arms as it's clearly hurt his wrist and elbows to absorb this much magical energy. He then spins one of these sticks around his head and flings it towards you, effectively throwing a very similar style of attack back at you. Please roll a d20. 4. Describe trying to roll out the way.
I'm on the floor, but I'm also maybe stuck. So I'm just going to try and roll, but...
Halfway through the roll, you are hit with a wall of force, not as powerful as the one that you created, but definitely noticeable, which knocks you and tumbles you back over head and shoulders a couple of times. It doesn't hurt as much, it's just kind of flinging you away.
My legs still hurts.
The one with the crossbow is beginning to struggle against you as much as he can and raises his knee. If you kind of on top and pinning him to the ground.
I'm kind of on top, just pinning him down.
He raises his knee and tries to knee you between the legs as hard as he can as he's on the floor. Roll the d20.
It's a 1.
No.
These tight pants aren't helping.
They aren't. And you feel the powerful connection of a muscular knee directly between your legs. That bolt of pain surges through you. Your grip relaxes slightly. And then you can feel him kind of pull around, grab the crossbow, but he's not bothered about you. Because you can kind of, once you release your grip from being kneed in the balls, he can grab your neck, almost throw you off him, aim the crossbow over at you, Rage, and then pull the trigger. Please roll a d20.
Oh, you meanie. 20.
Yay!
You notice that this person has thrown Mullac off and is aiming a crossbow towards you, and the bolt is beginning to congeal. But combat is your forte. And every time you're in a dangerous situation, for you, everything seems to go slower. And you seem acutely aware of things. You can hear the chirp of a single bird. You can feel the wind blowing across your face. You can see the sun beginning to gently rise over the horizon. You can see the sentinel in the distance flying around the city, and you can almost feel the pull of the magical energy as it begins to congeal into a bolt. And you feel you've got all the time in the world to respond to it. What would you do?
I will run towards the crossbow guy, skid on my knees, just skid towards him, and then just land a giant fist right in between his legs.
Yes.
Roll a
justice.
d20 for the success. You're going to have succeeded anyway because of the 20.
14.
He aims the crossbow. He pulls the trigger. A bolt begins to congeal. You run. You skid. You roll. Mullac has just been thrown off the top as you are still clutching in between your legs
Yeah.
from being kneed. And as you are thrown off the top, this guy is lying on his back prone, looks down and just sees a sliding barbarian, face filled with rage. And as the slide goes past, you're almost face to face as you just pull your hand back and punch him directly in the crotch as hard as you can from sliding. You hear a snap. You hear a pop almost.
Nice.
You feel this wave of, it's not pain for you, it's in, and then there's another moment in, and it's just extremely powerful. And this guy, his body ascends. He feels like he's experiencing pain 4 feet off the floor right now. And the crossbow is almost dropped down, but the trigger is still pulled. And as the trigger is pulled, the bolt flies directly toward the guy that's holding the large two-handed weapon. Unfortunately, not quick enough for them to respond, and instead they are struck square in the chest by a bolt of magical aether, knocking them off the floor, and they drop the weapon that they were carrying, thanks to your slide and crotch punch. Having seen Angharage slide and crotch punch, Yemmara, you've been knocked over, tumbling several times by this wave of force by the 2 short sticks. What are you going to do?
Okay, I'm gonna try and make my way over to Mullac actually, because I'm in a little bit of pain and I don't think I can do anything by myself right now, which is really humiliating for me. And I'm like, oh, I really wish I didn't start this fight, but here we are. Nobody asked me for anything. You can't steal from me. So I'm just trying to like crawl my way over to Mullac, and basically asking him for some help to get up, because I just don't want.
I'm still in a ball on the floor.
Yeah, I'm just coming over to maybe we can help each other.
Right.
Do you
The
have
one
any...
with 2 short sticks is still pretty much shaking the pain off his hands, but does see you crawling, and as you crawl, begins to run towards you. He notices that his crossbow-wielding friend has just had the ever-loving hell punched out of his balls by a sliding barbarian, and the large two-handed electric arc mace wielder has been knocked to the floor by a stray crossbow bolt and has dropped their weapon. So this 2 short stick user is the last one still in this fight, effectively, and so begins to sprint toward you while you're crawling toward Mullac.
Okay, as he gets really close, at the last second, I want to hold person.
Roll a d20.
Ooh.
19.
Describe the cast.
It's just going to be like,
Oh, no.
Just no. That's your key word for whole person. Just no. The user holds the sticks forward in a cross motion to try and absorb the magical energy that you are using to create this cage, and it's not quite able to contain everything that you're doing. So instead of stopping them, they suddenly just slow motion and begin to run forward you really slowly. They're fighting against the hold every second, but the hold is pushing them back. So you haven't stopped them. You've put them into extreme slow motion. They're still aware of what's going on, but they cannot move fast at all. And while they are effectively slowed, you're able to make it all the way toward Mullac. Mullac, Yemmara has just ran towards you. What would you like to do? You are still clutching your balls in pain.
Yeah, I pull myself up off the floor. I'm like, I'm good, and I just sprint for the mace, the two-handed mace, and try to grab it.
Roll the d20.
20.
It's not so much a sprint as a waddle, but you do manage to get there. You run past the one that was fired the crossbow is still clutching in pain as well. The guy that was hit in the chest by the crossbow bolt that has dropped the weapon is just about managing to roll over onto his front and bring himself up onto his knees, clutching his chest, trying to breathe. And when that person looks up, they see you standing above them, holding this two-handed mace, energy pulsing from the electrical head.
I'm going for a massive crush to the face.
Roll a d20.
7.
Doesn't matter. They're prone. You're easily going to hit them. You simply raise above your head. Describe the swing.
I get it kind of like over my shoulders, and with a little bit of like a jump for extra weight, I just bring it straight down on their face.
You aren't quite able to hit their face. You're able to hit just below on the chest area because of how heavy this thing is. But it goes straight through them like they're not even there.
Oh.
It crushes the bones and you can hear the snap and then you hear the dull thud as you hit the soft ground underneath. And then your hands begin to almost vibrate as a pulse of energy explodes out of this metal head, feeding into every part of this person's body, and then a white flash as you look away, and the next time you open your eyes, you realize you are covered in blood and guts and skin, as the head of this mace effectively exploded with aether energy, and anything it was touching just got blown apart. There's chunks of mud that fly around the place, there's leaves, there's a bit of a stick that you see kind of fling over your head and into the distance. It's not the same stick, but you have a connection to the sticks. And you are covered in what a few seconds ago was a bandit, as it's just blown up. The guy that had the crossbow is still clutching himself in pain. And Harag, you are still on the ground next to this dude that you've just punched in the crotch, and you've just watched over as Mullac effectively eviscerated and exploded a guy using this metal weapon. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm kind of fixated on what you've just done.
Yeah.
But while looking still in the moment, without looking at the bandit, I'd like to just uppercut the guy to grab, like, kind of like here to keep him there.
So you and him are effectively sat on the floor next to each other.
Okay.
Because you've just slid in and punched him in the balls. And
Oh,
he
so
kind
he's in
fell
front
there.
of me.
So he's kind of the side of you.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're looking and he's kind of there clutching it. So you could just reach over and grab his throat. You're
Yeah,
easily
I'd like to
within that.
grab, like, the back of his neck.
Okay.
And then just kind of, like, push him down to the mud.
Roll a d20.
12.
You grab his head and quite easily put his face in the mud without realizing the mud is quite wet. So you're just kind of sticking his face into the floor. He's struggling because he can't really breathe at this point, but occasionally manages to just get his mouth just out of the puddles, kind of.
Can I keep his head out the puddle just for a
Yeah,
second?
just his mouth is
More
out.
to keep him prone.
Yeah, just his mouth is out. He's not moving at all because he's in pain from both crotch and head now, being held down. Yemmara.
I'm going to pull myself fully up and hobble my way over to whoever is still conscious enough to listen, and just tell them,
The extremely slow one is running towards you and has realized that they can't do anything. The whole person spell is starting to wear off. They're moving a little bit quicker, but you still have an advantage.
I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna just go and. This is why you don't try and rob people. You don't know what we can do. And I don't know if he's noticing, but I'm gonna put my staff like just where his legs will be when he eventually.
He can't stop. He's
into-
ran, but he can't stop himself
Yeah.
right now. But even though it's slow motion,
So I'm just putting my staff in front of where his legs will be when he starts and running full pelt again.
well, he looks down and realizes what's about to happen. And as he goes full pelt, his shin catches your staff and they just tumble over themselves, falling off the floor. The bandit drops the two sticks, stands up, and then just runs away into the distance.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You are still covered in the guts and gore and viscera of a dude that you have blown up using a magical mace, the power of aether on full show here. You're still holding the mace. Mullac, how are you feeling about that?
It's just another Friday night, isn't it, really? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to need a bath when we get into the town. I think that's first port of call. Then probably the bar.
Sounds like a good idea.
Fix the trauma.
And Harag, you are still holding this dude's head effectively in the mud.
Can I speak to the guy?
Yeah, he looks up.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you should be.
You can have the weapons. I'm sorry. Please just let me go.
What's up with the weapons?
Please just let me go. Don't tell the guards. Please just let me go. You can have them.
Don't tell the guards, eh? Why not?
You don't know what they do to people.
What do they do to people?
I can't tell you. Please just let me go.
Okay, as he says that, I kind of want to just push his face back in the mud just for
Okay.
a little bit when he says he can't tell you,
Mhm.
and I just like hold him there for a second. Go on, say
Roll a d20.
7.
7. Looks back up. Anything you can threaten me with is not as bad as what they will do. Please, just let me go. You can take the weapons. Don't say where we are. Just take the weapons back to the city and let me go, please.
I'd like to look at Yemmara to offer, like, you know, if you want to step in at this point.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna come over. Where did you get the weapons from?
Albion, they were from a few years ago. They were throwing a few away. They were putting them in the junkyard. Please, just let me go.
Well, he can't really do anything. So.
But why the guards? Why can't we tell the guards? What's wrong with the guards?
I guess the guards are gonna probably do worse than what we've done to them.
Sus.
Yeah, if he's not supposed to have them, I'm pretty sure the guards wouldn't be happy if he if you showed up with them.
Why aren't you in the city?
Kicked out. Don't belong there. Don't like the way they work things. Please, just let me go.
The way they work things.
Anything I say to you is going to be used against me. Please let me go.
We're going to let you go, but you might as well just tell us.
The bandit is beginning to go into a little bit of shock as he's starting to hyperventilate from the thoughts of what will happen if the enforcers get their hands on him.
I can make you invisible for a while. They won't be able to see you.
He is too focused on the thoughts of what would happen if he was taken back to the city.
I'm not going to take you to the city. We let you go. We don't even want you.
Please just let me go. You'll never see me again. You'll never see me again.
Chill, man. It's fine.
Stop robbing people.
Are you going to let him go?
I'm just gonna. Heck.
Take his weapons, though.
I want
Yeah.
him.
Stop
That's
stealing
not how to
men.
get a boyfriend.
Damn.
Just let him go. He's useless to us. He's not going to tell us anything.
Release my grip on the
He
back.
scurries away through the mud, stands up, and just sprints off into the distance.
You're welcome.
Leaving his now eviscerated friend on the floor, effectively covering you. He drops the crossbow off on the floor as well.
Pick the weapons up. And can we carry them back?
You have found one of the powerful Aether crossbows. Not this year's model. Quite an old model, as the bandits were saying. One model that was actually destined for the junkyard. You aren't entirely sure what that part of the city is, but might be interesting to look into in the future. You also have the two energy-absorbing and then redirecting sticks, and you are still holding the large Aether explosion mace with energy arcing
Human
off
suit
the head
creator.
off the head of it. Your rather rude awakening has been dealt with. You are able to take down your camp, pack it up, and make the roughly 1 hour journey remaining to the city itself. Mullac,
Yeah.
any thoughts on this?
I am enjoying my new toy. It's possibly the most fun I've had. Just making human soup.
And Harrog,
While we are traveling, I'd like to obviously look. I don't like magic, really. I don't like scary magic. I don't like magic that can do that.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of like to just be intrigued about what the weapon is that you have, but like also kind of keep my distance and just ask you a bunch of questions.
I mean, I don't even know how it works.
So like, what did it feel like when you like touched the man?
It
What?
it felt like a big ball of energy. I can't even.
no, Mullac, what did it feel like when you touched the man? Answer the question,
It
Mullac.
felt fantastic. It was a rush of just euphoria, just watching this man turn inside out. Essentially,
Have you ever done it before?
no, I haven't.
That was your first time.
That was my first time turning a man inside out.
I enjoyed being monetized. The small time it lasted.
I don't know if I like it. Like, I don't like that. It's kind of scary.
It is pretty scary.
You still have access to the crossbow and the small 2 redirecting sticks as
I
well.
wouldn't like to touch any of
You aren't
the
taking
stuff.
any of the magical
I don't
items,
want
which
anybody
means that
any.
the 2 small redirecting sticks and the magical crossbow are now both with you, Yemmara. And you can feel a massive amount of ethereal energy within them, but it's waning over time. It's almost like it's not as powerful as it was at the start of the encounter, the start of the fight. You realize that with every bolt that was fired out of that crossbow, because you could see them when Mullac was grappling and they were firing off randomly into the sky, every bolt was very slightly weaker than the last.
These are getting weaker, you know? Like, no wonder they were going to the junkyard. It's no use. By the end of the fight, you're basically firing pins at people.
Yeah. Do you think they need like re-energizing somehow? Is that
I
something
don't
you
know,
can do? Can
but
you
I would
charge
like
them?
to be re-energized. Can you please bandage my leg up?
Yeah, I'll. What did you do to it?
I didn't do anything to it. I think you'll find one of the cretins that we dealt with.
Right. Yeah. I walk over and I start to wrap a bandage around really poorly, just
Ow.
getting blood and guts on it as I go. You know.
You're not too bad at this, actually. You've got better at the medical stuff recently. You're starting
Yeah.
to understand more of the tech side of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely keeping the pain in. And with everything packed up, you begin the final journey toward the city as it looms in the distance and slowly gets closer. The sentinel still flying endlessly in a loop around the sky of the city itself. And eventually it looms into view. Large metallic structures, towers, spires of brass, of silver, of blackened charred metal, wires, plates, pipes, gears, cogs, pistons, filling your vision on the horizon. A city far larger than a city should be, built faster than anything should be able to be built, powered by something inside the center of it. Gates all around this outer wall, allowing people in, and many people trundling in. Horses, carts, people, carnivals, festivals, sideshows, people with large inventions on their back, people all coming to show off what they've created for the Aether Extravaganza. And positioned around the outside of this large metallic outer wall, the city guard, standing 2 or 3 feet taller than the regular person because they are covered in metal pipes, holding onto handles with wires running around them, an exoskeleton suit, each of them inside one, each of them easy and able to move, and every time it does move, a small puff of blue aether magical energy out from any of the pistons, holding hammers larger than a man should be able to hold. Some of them effectively holding balls of ethereal energy congealed in the air in front of them, magical potential ready to be thrown at anyone or anything causing trouble. The enforcers, keeping the city safe with impossible strength and speed. And as you advance, you get closer to the city of Albion. Mullac, you've never seen something this technologically advanced.
No, never. I definitely wouldn't want to go up against them in combat.
They don't seem dangerous to you right now, as in
No.
they don't seem aggressive to you. In fact, as soon as you get closer, one of them even kind of smiles and just waves. And as he does wave, the metal creaks and bends, and the hammer they are holding flies through the air quickly again as well. And then they stand back down into their position. Angharage.
I would like to take that as an open invitation to go towards them, and I'd like to just walk up and just look up, like,
One looks down. Welcome to the city of Albion.
hello.
Are you here for the extravaganza?
Yes, I think so.
Please, would you and your party go and join the queue over there? As they point, they're holding a spear, the base of it made of deep oaken wood, and the tip a large, shiny silver blade. Please, head over there. They point to a queue of people waiting to get into the city.
I would like to what is this thing? That blue.
The suit that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I'm one of the enforcers. We keep Albion safe, powered by the Aether Heart.
Wow. What's the Aether Heart?
The Aether Heart is the heart of the city, the magical power that has built all of this. Once you're inside, if you ask the captain nicely, he might be able to show you the outside of it.
Thank you, mister. You're so helpful.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
You too.
The guard turns around and stands facing out into the distance, looking out over the fields and forests that face toward the city. The sentinel now much closer. You can hear the hum of the energy, and as you look up, it is huge. The sentinel as big as a building itself, hovering ominously overhead and around the place. Yemmara, as you are pointed out where the queue is, how are you feeling?
I don't really do queues. I normally just walk in wherever I need to go.
Really?
Can we just try and skip it? We've got kind of tickets.
Yeah,
What's the worst that could happen? We have to go to the back. We're already at the back.
Yeah. What have you got
that
in
is
mind?
very true.
I'm just walking in. I'm a noble.
Are you guys feeling like just walking past the queue and walking in?
I kind of like puff myself like a bird.
The queue of people trying to get in through this gate. The gate itself, again made of brick, stone, metal, brass, pipes, gears, wheels, and cogs, is a large open gate, large enough to let a horse and cart through, with an enforcer either side of it, effectively checking people's tickets and allowing them in. And as you walk closer, one of them sees you and turns and walks over to you, every heavy step almost mechanical and metal thudding onto the ground. He holds up his hand. Halt! Where did you get that? He points toward the weapon that you're currently holding.
We got into a bit of a fight with some bandits in the forest, and we killed them.
Are you here to return it?
Yes, that's why we're here.
We have another as well. We are here to return them.
Please show me what you have.
I show him the crossbow.
Any more? He can see the sticks that you're carrying.
I've only got 2 hands, sir, and one of them has a staff. If you can see it, then yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Right. Follow me. The captain will be pleased to hear that these have been returned. The enforcer turns around and walks toward the city. Heavy, quick steps, longer strides than you're able to keep up with, walking past the queue and down. And as you follow, he almost turns around and beckons the queue to push into the side to allow you to pass. You follow the enforcer in. He turns. Please, follow me to the inn. The captain will be ecstatic to know that these have been returned. We were worried.
I'm on it. I'm just doing like a little bit of a jog and then a walk to try and keep up.
The enforcer strides into the city and straight through. You can just about see the inn that he walks into. And you walk in through the gates. The crowd kind of annoyed that you've managed to skip the queue and get in. And one of the other enforcers kind of looking at you and then realizing that you're following somebody else. You almost flash the weapons and point. And he's like, okay, carry on, man. He's all right with that. You step through the entrance to the city. The streets, an odd mix of soil, wires, pipes, metal plates, chainmail hanging around, and wood from when it was a village. Some of the new buildings made almost of a concrete-style material. Rocks ground into impossibly fine powder and pasted together onto wooden structures, with metal wires and beams hanging through them. You can tell where the old city stopped and the new city expanded quickly, but it's larger than you've ever seen. The sentinel constantly above you. The enforcers pacing around the city streets, which themselves are wider than they need to be to make up for these mechanical suits that they are wearing and walking around in. Any questions about the city?
Are there any weapons that we can see that are similar to what we've got?
Yes, wielded by the enforcers.
Only the enforcers.
Multiple times. Sometimes some of these metallic suits that you see are holding one of those maces in either hand. Sometimes they have the sticks that you see that absorb power welded down the forearms of them or down the shins. Some of them have the crossbows mounted onto the shoulders, and as the enforcers are turning their heads to look, systems of pulleys and gears and wheels are twisting the bolts with them as well, effectively looking around. These are regular humans, well-built, powerful and muscular as they are, inside these exoskeleton machines. The front is almost open, apart from the metal bars that are keeping them, the straps and the leather rivets that are keeping people into it. You can unhook yourself and jump out of it and walk around, but they are strapped in firmly to them and seem very competent in operating them. There aren't that many enforcers that you can see, but with the firepower they've got, you don't assume there need to be that many right now. Angharage, any more questions about what you can see in the city before you head through?
Is there any difference between the weapons that we've got and the weapons they've got?
Yes, theirs are much newer. They are shinier. They hum with more energy and they seem slightly more refined. Looking at what you've got and what they've got, you definitely have the older, inferior models.
Do the enforcers look nice?
Some of them are smiling at you. Some of them are annoyed. Some of them are bored. But most of them just seem to be guards doing their job.
What about the one that's leading us?
Seems fine.
So he's a good, friendly scale.
From what you can tell, you've only interacted with him once, but Yemmara may be able to find out some more, especially using psychic powers.
Yeah, I can see you kind of like trying to work him out.
Is he nice?
How am I supposed? I'm gonna just like look at the back of his head as we're following him and do a little detect thoughts.
Roll the d20.
And see what he's thinking about. 7.
He strides into a pub effectively known as the Heart and Hearth over it. You're not sure what part of the city you're in right now, but it seems like an okay pub. It's a mixture of old wooden beams and plaster and shiny metal surfaces all built together at the same time, effectively intertwining between each other. It isn't sure whether it's old or whether it's new. But as the enforcer steps through the much more enlarged door just to fit their frames in, he stops, and a blue glow almost begins to surround his head, almost a shield. As he turns around and looks at you, please don't.
Sorry, we were just trying to figure out
What I was thinking, yes, I know.
Well, yeah, but not like explicitly.
First time in the city.
Yeah.
We'll keep you safe. All we ask is that you do exactly what we say, you don't commit any crimes, and you don't go into the heart without permission.
That seems fair.
Fantastic. Also, try not to use your magic against us. It won't go well for you.
Well, it wasn't against you. It was...
Let's end this conversation here. You won't like where it ends.
I just really wanted to know if I could be in one of those suits or not. So that's why she said that.
Years of training, but you seem like you have some muscle on you. There is a competition later on where you can take on one of us if you want.
Yeah? Where? When?
It's happening tomorrow. We'll make sure we book you an appointment.
Thank you.
The enforcer turns and strides into the building. Are you willing to follow him?
Yes.
You head into the Heart and Hearth, the tavern that's a mix of the old and the new. Inside, there are patrons, sat down, drinking, wearing an eclectic mix of clothes, some of them in furs, some of them in lovely, intricately carved metal plate mail armor, some of them in leather, some of them in bits of the metallic structures the enforcers wear, but not all of them. And as you walk in, the enforcer you were following is gone, replaced by another one who steps forward and stares at you. This one is different, however. He seems to have almost been melted into the suit that he's wearing. His skin seems to have molded to the metal. His face has fallen down, melting. His lips have almost been merged together, his eyes drooping, and he simply stares at you, unable to say, or wanting to say, anything.
I don't want to go in the suit anymore.
Don't go in the suit then, but you get to fight one tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's an adventure.
Hi.
With this thing staring at you, unable to think or say or do anything that you can make any sense of, you take one final look around the tavern. In the corner, an old man sits, drinking from a chipped, almost rotting wooden mug, some kind of beer that you can smell from all that far away. And as this enforcer simply stares at you, you hear a voice from behind. That's enough now, Timothy. And striding from behind the strange, disfigured enforcer, a much taller man, much broader, in one of the metal suits, who simply places his gauntleted hand on Timothy's rather melted shoulder and pushes him away. You're scaring our guests. He pushes Timothy rather forcefully to the side and turns and looks at you. I hear you're the ones who returned our goods to us.
Yeah, where are we supposed to put these, by the way?
Please place them on the table for the time being. We'll sort them out.
Okay, sure, no worries.
I'll walk over and just place my mace on the table.
This large man extends a gauntleted, muscular hand to you. I'm Augustus, chief enforcer in the city of Albion.
Mullac, nice to meet you.
He shakes your hand extremely weakly.
Yes.
Hello. My name's Rach.
He goes to shake your hand. He grips it more powerfully than you are comfortable with, just to make sure that you are wincing in pain before he finally lets go, smiling the entire time, knowing he's stronger than you. And he extends a hand to shake yours as well, Yemmara.
I do not reach my hand out. Yemmara Trixx.
I see. He focuses on your hand and realizes that you aren't moving it. And then to the side of this man, Augustus the chief, a smaller woman steps forward, wearing a much slender, sleeker version of the mechanical suit. She simply has her hands in front of her like this and is holding no weapons. She looks toward you. It's lovely to meet you. And then focuses on your hand. Roll a d20.
14.
You feel something unseen grip your wrist and force your hand up into the shaking position, and you are unable to fight back against it. She focuses on you, and you realize that whatever she is doing is manipulating some kind of energy around you to force itself into a physical barrier and lift up your body against its will and shake this man's hand. Augustus looks at her. This is Athena, head of defense for the city. If you've got time, we're happy to show you round, as thanks for returning the weapons.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I want to see the city.
Come with me. I will show you Albion. Augustus and Athena, the chief enforcer and head of defense, in their impossibly powerful mech suits, step out of the Heart and Hearth. The old man in the corner is still sipping away at a beer, and you can tell that he's staring at these two, full of hatred. And he's staring at you, full of uncertainty as well. But what will the city of Albion hold? We will find out in the next episode.